Another how-to here at SwissWatchExpo on the Panerai 312. Now this is the most popular of Panerai, and these watches come with multiple straps. When you open up the box, you will see the tools, the screwdriver, the push tool, which says Officine Panerai, the official Panerai, and likely an extra strap. Now what's a little bit different about each model is the way that the straps actually are changed. Now, some of them only use this screwdriver. By the way, not all Panerais come with tools. Not all Panerais have the tools in them from the original purchase, either A, because they've been lost, or B, because they did not come with them in the first place. If they came with them, they'll have these little loops and areas where you put the tools. Otherwise, they may be flat with nothing there. Don't panic if you don't have those. They didn't come with them originally. You can acquire them from Panerai. Now, let's be clear about how this strap changes. It's very simple, actually. Probably a little bit more difficult for me to show you on camera than it is to actually change it in person. So what you'll do is you'll pick this watch up and you'll notice that right here is a little pusher. And you'll also notice that there are large areas on either side to be able to push the pin out of the watch. So what you'll actually do is take this Officine Panerai pusher and pull it apart. Why? Because you're going to use these to push out the pin. So I'm going to try to do this so that it makes sense on camera, and I'm going to probably be a little bit more fumbly about it than what you may be in person. But we're going to use this pusher, and I'm going to just show you here. You're going to push that down. When you push that down, it unlocks the actual pin. Now, then, when you do that, you'll push this straight out. Now, you see, I've pushed that out, and I'm going to bring this close to the camera now that I can use one hand. You can see that I've pushed down and unlocked, and then pushed that pin out. See how it's exposed? And it's just as simple as that. It works the same way on both sides. And then you just simply pull the pin out. Now, don't drop that. You don't want to lose them. That's as much as there is, except one small item. Now, you'll notice that both of these straps have sleeves in them, here and here. Not all straps will have sleeves in both sides. What you will notice is that sometimes when you buy a strap like this, it comes with no sleeve at all, so you'll need to transfer them. So when you look at these and you want to determine whether they have sleeves in them, if for some reason you have sleeves only in one side, simply just push them out and transfer them to this one. You can do that, of course, with the tool that they give you. They can be something finicky, a little bit finicky. If they are a little bit harder to push out, you can use this particular tool to push through. So there's a couple of different ways to do it if that's the case. Don't lose those sleeves. Also, you can buy those from Panerai as well. If you happen to lose any of these, don't panic. They're very easily replaced. So let's talk about how to transfer the buckle. And by the way, when I replace these, in order to keep from getting the straps upside down, I just do it one at a time. So I'm going to replace like for like, and then I'm going to put these on, this one on next. Now, I'll do this here in this video so that you can see the pin is notched. That's where the locking mechanism is. That's how you know that you will push this pin through. And again, doing it on camera is a little bit more fiddly than doing it in person when you actually have a little bit more dexterity. You push it right through that sleeve. You can see that I'm deliberately letting you see me be a little fiddly with this because I want you to know that it isn't as hard as it seems. So there. Now, I pushed that through. Okay, well, it stops. Well, it's at the lock point, so I'm just going to simply push this side down, unlocking it. I want to make sure that it's lined up, and there, It's lined up. See that? Now again, because I'm doing this on camera, I feel a little bit more fiddly than you will in person, because I'm having to hold this way out here so that you can see what I'm doing. So bear with me if you don't mind. So that's one side changed. Now, what about this? Well, you may notice that that screw is a little bit out. That means it's not flush inside. So if you see your little screw pin backing out, just simply take your screwdriver and screw it back in and make sure it's tight. Now, if for some reason you want to change your strap, simply back this out, and it works the same exact way as the other pin does. Now, in some cases, if this one gets a little fiddly, get yourself a little pair of tweezers or something to grab this. My fingernails are terrible, so I have a little bit harder time pushing that out. One of the tricks for this is that you can put just a dab of some sort of a little bit of silicone oil or something to kind of keep that a little bit oiled up. It won't hurt it. Just don't use a corrosive type of oil. Like, for example, don't use WD-40. And that'll help that pin slide in and out if it starts getting dried out, because you'll wear it in water. This is a diving watch. It's normal. So once you get this pushed out, you just simply pull it out. You'll see that it's got the threaded end. And of course that goes in here. Now, remember this when you're putting this buckle back together. I want to show you this. This is something that I learned in Panerai. Always remember when you're looking at the buckle that the tongue has the ramp up, so that way when it touches, you see that? Whoops. I had it good and tight on there. So that way it moves and it goes in the little slot there. It fits perfect, because a lot of folks will put it in upside down. So when you change this strap out, what I always do is, and there again, I've left that strap there. I go ahead, knowing what position the original tongue was in, and I put it in. That way you can see how it looks. And then I assemble this portion of the strap. Now, you will push that in through, and you'll want to make sure you hold that tongue, and you will feel it. You'll fiddle with it just a little bit, because what you're going to want to do is make sure that that pin grabs on this side of the buckle, so that you can feel it actually engage. That way you can screw it down easily for the strap change. And if for some reason you happen to lose the original Panerai screwdriver, I want to point out that you see that the screwdriver is actually notched. So it goes in and then it's flat. Most screwdrivers of this type taper. If you use a jeweler's screwdriver, it's tapered. That's okay. You can use that. It's perfectly fine. Just know that the Panerai screwdriver is in fact different. Also, one other thing I want to point out too, from being around Panerai for a long time, these have little Allen screws right here in the side. And well, actually this one happens to be a flathead. So you should use a jeweler's screwdriver to make sure to tighten that down. Why? Because this can actually fall out. It'll get loose and fall out. Don't be surprised by that either. That's normal. Just screw that down real tight and make a good seal on this screwdriver. You'll find that throughout the years. So there's just a few little things that you need to remind yourself about. And again, to complete the strap change on this particular watch, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use both hands. So I'm going to hold it. I hope this makes sense. I'm going to push this down. And what I usually do is actually lay the watch down off, obviously on something soft. Make sure that I push the pusher and then push the pin out. And you see how fast that is? Take it out. I've already assembled this. So I'm just going to put this strap back in here. And remember, again, notched area to the pusher side because that's where the lock is. Otherwise, it won't lock properly. Push it through. There again, fiddle with it. Adjust this. So you'll feel that as you're pushing here, you'll feel it lock in. And then, again, make sure you push the lock down to secure it because you want to make sure that that pin is fully flush all the way in. And you can make absolutely certain by using the pusher to push it all the way through, and you've done your strap change. It's very, very easy. Don't be afraid of it. Only thing I'm going to ask you is to make double sure that you check how tight that is. It doesn't have to be super, super tight, just finger tight. Make sure that it's locked in there. Every now and again, check that screw. Make sure it's not backing out on you. That's all you have to do. And that's how you deal with any Panerai Luminor. Now, again, some of the other ones use screws and they actually come out here, and you use this screwdriver to pull them out here. Now, on the radio mirror, just as a side note, they have little screws on the case back, and you'll take those screws out on the case back, and then the little wire lugs will pull out, and then you slide the strap off, and then the reverse procedure. It's a little bit easier. So there you have it, the Panerai 312, how to change the straps.